to Asia Pacific Proptech Summit 2022. In this session, we are delighted to have 4 esteemed speakers to share their views and experience on the topic, which is Asia Pacific Proptech Outlook, how blockchain, big data, AI, and Metaverse are evolving in the real estate industry. All of these are big terms, which are the topics that we need to focus in coming future. All right, so let me briefly introduce the moderator and the panelists. We have Leo Lo from Hong Kong. He is the founder of Asia Proptech. He is also a founder of real estate technology company, which is working on the AI and blockchain applications in the real estate sector. So next, we have AJ Rosero from Philippines. She's now the executive director of Proptech Consortium of Philippines, a year-old Proptech organization with a mission to digitalize the real estate industry in the Philippines. All right, then we also have Elizabeth Siu, our deputy president. She is a seasonal real estate and commercial lawyer, author and speaker turned technopreneur. She was involved in numerous regional blockchain summits and delivering her paper on land title, registration on blockchain, and the usage of blockchain for real estate. And last but not least, we have Jason Ting, a familiar face since morning, our moderator. He is co-founder of mHub, listed as one of the 12 hottest fintech startups according to Fintech News. He is also an Asian Startup Awards 2021 finalist in the Founder of the Year category. So without further ado, let me pass the floor to Jason. So Jason, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Angela. Thank you for that introduction. And wow, so good to see you, AJ, Leo, and Elizabeth. Yeah, I'm excited about this because we're going to hear from different regions from Hong Kong, China, and Philippines. Happy birthday, by the way, AJ, for the very first year anniversary, right?
Thank you very much. Yes.
So MPA is just a bit older, so we are like your big brother, big sister in a sense. But excited to hear about what's happening in the Philippines as well as of course a season like what Angela mentioned. Elizabeth has been one of the founding members of MPA in Malaysia, and as well as very much in the forefront and seeing the trends of what's happening. So the title for today, as Angela has shared, is a very broad one, okay? Because every one of those words can be a topic in itself, isn't it? Yeah. It's the overall arcing theme of Asia Pacific Proptech Summit is Future Smart Cities, the Proptech Impact, right? But in this session, we are going to talk about Asia Pacific Proptech Outlook, how blockchain, big data, AI, and Metaverse are evolving the real estate industry. So when I mentioned those titles, blockchain, big data, AI, Metaverse, so each one of those can be its own, not just say session, it can be its own summit, it can be its own conference. But so today what we're going to try to achieve and try to unpack is just in broad strokes, just what's happening in your observation around the world, and then in your own respective countries, and then give some handles to players in the region. Yeah, shall we do that? Yeah. So firstly, let's talk about in the global trends. As I know, a lot of things that when it comes to technology, it's all about timing. Sometimes people anticipate, oh, this is going to be the next big thing. It's going to happen. Then 1 year passes, 2 years passes, 3 years passes, and then it's not yet happening yet. We as technologists and we as people, entrepreneurs, we are always excited and we are ahead of our times. But we are always looking for the timing where the wave comes and we jump in. So maybe what I'd like to hear first, maybe from Leo, I'll give the stage to you as the one of the pioneers in Asia Proptech. You know, what are the big trends you've seen in the world? Or big movements or big improvements or direction that you see worldwide before going into your country? Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Jason, for the introduction. You can hear me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just a bit louder will be good. Just a bit louder will be good.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me try. So to me, I think because I'm kind of from the industry. Actually before setting up anything in PropTech. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yes, a bit better.
Okay. Let me come in closer to the microphone. Okay. Yeah, because I'm from the industry, and even I start anything on PropTech, I supposed to deal with very traditional real estate investment, financing. And to me, I think COVID happened or start from 2019 is definitely very crucial to giving an impact on real estate, even PropTech. So, Jason, you're right. Somehow, okay, we're excited about any new thing, any new innovation that would give a great impact on the real estate. However, eventually, it takes time. Say, even 5 years ago, I think all the real estate people were excited about the blockchain implications or applications in the real estate industry. Say, oh, if we can transact the real estate globally, seamlessly by using the blockchain. However, it seems that even till now, I think it still takes time. Okay, it still takes time. So to me, I think for the latest situation or from my observation, I think we need to observe that how, say, Metaverse, because Metaverse is somehow also based on different types of technologies that give an impact to the real estate. Say, because of the COVID, I don't think we will work in a live or environment just like before the COVID that, okay, we work at the office, we played or we shop at a shopping mall, we live in a tiny apartment. Somehow, the trend is combining different things together physically. And given the rise of Metaverse, I think we should also consider about combining, say, work with play physically and virtually. So from my recent several projects, actually we focus much on how to make use of Metaverse to bring the shopping behavior from offline to online and then back to offline. So it's not just about the shopping things or just about the retail, but you can imagine as a real estate guy, it will definitely reshape the real estate role and also even redefine a so-called shopping mall, right? And this is, of course, also based on the blockchain infrastructure, say how to record the behavior or even how to further extend spending behavior or investment behavior, linking between the virtual world and the physical world. One more point is, I don't think this is wholly a virtual thing. Eventually, because people just like us, we are living in a real world. So Metaverse, blockchain things are just tools to help us to travel between the offline, online, offline. But eventually, you're living in a real world. That means an offline world. So that's the trend. Maybe, of course, I will let other panelists to share more.
Yeah.
And have a more interactive discussion on this later.
Great. Thank you, Leo. So you're saying Metaverse is more significant in a big way, and there's movements towards that direction. Maybe AJ, in your observation, just worldwide, not necessarily in your own country yet, but just want to hear what you've seen traction or usage or use cases in a meaningful way or successfully worldwide. You've seen any PropTech, as mentioned, blockchain, big data, AI, and Metaverse, any of the above.
What's interesting is that I have been delivering speeches about the trends in the real estate. And you're right, blockchain always comes out as one of the trends. So I definitely see it big time, of course, in the US, in Europe. And I'm glad that we're having this type of session for Asia, because I think, I know that you said, AJ, talk about more global. Perhaps we can talk about the details for Philippines later on. But I see there's a lot of traction in terms of knowledge sharing on the importance of blockchain in the real estate industry. So the focus really for, I think for blockchain and what we see, what I personally see is in the sense that it's linked to the workers now preferring to work from home. And so in terms of adoption, I think Philippines is ready. As a matter of fact, 89% of employees in the Philippines are ready. Based on the survey that was conducted, the professionals are ready for the metaverse in the Philippines.
Brilliant. Thanks, AJ. Let's hear from Elizabeth. What are your observation, global trends? Sorry, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi to Leo. I have not seen Leo for a long time. Now, when we look at AI and big data, I think this is something that was started worldwide a number of years ago. And I think in terms of the adoption and so on, and the usages, I think it's going mainstream already. It's going mainstream in most of the country, right? And further develop like big data and on data analytic and now predictive AI and so on, right? China is one example. How they have use it so accurately, using big data to do prediction, right? Then the next thing is actually blockchain and metaverse. When it comes to blockchain, like what Leo says, I first got to know about blockchain in 2016, and my white paper was published in 2016. It's already 6 years, It's already 6 years ago. And title registration blockchain, how many countries have successfully implemented that, right? We talk about it. We were very excited back in 2017, 2018. Then came, of course, all the cryptocurrency, ICO, and so on. And NFT became another hot topic for 1.5 years. That is when NFT, then the metaverse. So for the last 1.5 years, everyone was talking about the impact of metaverse. But suddenly it also died down, right? Because of the clashes and so on. So in fact, for metaverse, we were sort of in that space for a while. But I don't really see that as a PropTech, because it is not real estate. Whatever you invest in the metaverse, I think the most we can call it digital asset, but it's not real estate, but digital asset. It's a different space, I would think, But blockchain, with all the hypes and so on dying down, now when the market come back to their senses, they again look at blockchain, how blockchain can be used sensibly for the society and for real estate. So real case usages as also in terms of government support. I think maybe later we can probably, each of us will share, some of the movement by each of our country and some of the securities body and regulatory body are all looking at regulating blockchain application and so on. I think probably later we can share that. But I think blockchain is something that we seriously need to look at for the next 5 years.
Yeah, why don't we just unpack that right now? Because I think
okay.
like mentioned about legislation and countries. Now we go about, let's zoom into our respective countries. I'm excited. Right. I'm in Malaysia, so I know a bit more. But I'd be happy to hear what's happening in Philippines and Hong Kong and China. But maybe Elizabeth, we can kick us off. What are the trends you see in Malaysia that's been actually making waves or is working out? Use case, like you say, very rightly, is so important. It's not just a story, it's actually being used, it's successful, and it's created and provided value. So you mentioned about blockchain. Maybe you can talk about that as well as Malaysia's. Are we moving now and breaking stuff? Or is legislation trying to catch up? I would like to hear from you.
That is a good question. Are we moving fast enough? Okay. Now, recently, the Malaysia government they have announced the development of public blockchain for Malaysia, right? So that is under the collaborative effort between a company called MyEG and Mimos. Okay. But first they have only signed an MOU. By the time they actually get the proper contract done and the development commissioning, I don't know, 3 to 5 years maybe, for commissioning and so on. But that paved the way for a national digital ID. I think that is also very important. You see, when we have digital ID for the citizen, that is when everything can really move in the blockchain, right? And so for example, your property transaction, your medical record, right? Your insurance. So our living, day-to-day living and so on can be really, can be on blockchain because all tied to our digital ID, you see. So I think that is going to be something remarkable that's going to happen in Malaysia. But the question is timing, okay? When can this be really implemented, right? I think that is something that we are interested to look at. Regulatory-wise, okay, I thought I'm going to share about property tokenization because that has something to do with blockchain. I think in the various jurisdictions in the world, I think most of them are looking at regulating blockchain for property transactions, which is in the form of tokenizations. So Malaysia as well, this year, they have announced 2 licenses. Okay, they call it IEO license, initial exchange offering, whereby it's just like public listing exercise. It's like IPO exercise, whereby you can list your token for public to subscribe. It's like IPO, all right? So Malaysia has announced that. Of course, they need time to get the platform ready, for listing. Labuan as well. Labuan is an offshore financial island for Malaysia. They've also recently announced a Sharia compliant security token exchange license. It's called GreenX, right? I understand Hong Kong as well. Philippines, I think they also have, but I hope AJ and Leo can share more with us how now I think all the jurisdictions, we are competing with each other, right? To have this space for listing of token and for token security token exchange. So that is going to be the next phase, I think.
Cool. Thanks, Elizabeth. So it sounds like in Malaysia, at least, there is thought and there's policies put towards adopting technology and digitalization in a meaningful way. So there's not so much fear, or there's not so much hesitancy, but we're moving forward. And actually, we are curious to see how things will move in the new government, where they just announced the Prime Minister just minutes ago.
Yeah, they just announced.
So trying to compete with that in terms of attention span. But yeah. So now let's see from AJ, what are the exciting updates you can hear from Philippines, and in terms of legislation, policy, what's been happening? Could you just enlighten us? AJ.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, it's aligned to the celebration that we had yesterday, because in celebration of our first-year anniversary, we're also celebrating the partnership project that we're having with one of the government agencies in the Philippines, which is providing loans to developers. And there would be a exploratory kind of partnership with regards to how we can connect the developers and the government agency in terms of speeding up the home loan process. And what's the benefit of this? The benefit of this is we are going to come in and help in digitizing some of the processes that are manually done. And so when this happens, it will speed up the ease of doing business, and it will speed up the process of the home loan to 7 days. And that is actually aligned to the directive of the new administration that we focus on speeding up the home loan process so that funds get released faster to the developers, and developers get to build more houses. So we have a target of 1 million houses per year for the next 6 years. So so there's a lot of challenge on the part of the real estate developers, but at the same time, we take this as a challenge. The second thing is we have a government agency, which we call a Department of Trade and Industry. And what's great is that they have signed up a MOA with a US-based company that provides blockchain-based cloud data storage optimization service. And this happened in 2019. And the purpose is that this will enhance capacity building and institutional development on the effective use of blockchain technology in the Philippines. So that's also another exciting news. The other one I want to mention is the ICT, which is the Department of Information and Technology, the Department of Information, Technology and Communications. And their focus is to digitalize and automate the processes of the government and linked it to the other agencies. Because for them, they see automation as key to really removing all the manual work that's being done currently in the Philippines. So that's the focus, to really automate.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, AJ. I'm especially interested to find out more about the loan application and digitalization, because that's very much in line with what we and MHub do as well in terms of transaction. Okay, before I pass time to Leo to share about trends that he's seen in Hong Kong and China, just want to open up the Q&A actually. If any of you in the attendees that you would like to ask any questions, just feel free to use the Q&A button and put in your answers anytime at all, and then we'll get to it towards the end. Okay, not now, but towards the end. So coming back to you, Leo, where is Hong Kong at? Because it's one of the center for PropTech, I would say, a lot of tech adoption, a lot of excitement, a lot of movements there, and also with China. I know things are opening up a bit more these days. Could you tell us, I mean, what are the trends and what about policies? How's it catching up? Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Jason. And first of all, I think I need to say hello to Elizabeth as well, because a long time no see for the past 3 years. I still remember the days first we met. We talked a lot about how blockchain can be used on property titles, on how to transact a property, etc. So definitely, I think I also agree with you very much on what you're saying. That it seems the different governments now is competing with each other, especially on the policy, on the regulations. And looking back to Hong Kong, Hong Kong, to me, I think Hong Kong is a very mature, established, is or was a financial hub of the world. Although, in the recent days, Hong Kong people talk a lot about how we can compete with Singapore, for example. So because of various reasons, like political reasons, it seems that Singapore is picking up on becoming financial hub in Asia. Anyway, Hong Kong is so established in terms of financial center, and it also means we won't, dare to adopt something totally new that fast. So it takes time for us to study. It takes time for us to maybe properly learn from each other. But luckily that I think in last month, during our so-called FinTech Week, the Hong Kong government announced that we have a policy statement, finally, on how to regulate, or at least giving a direction on how to regulate the virtual assets in Hong Kong. Because before that, we have a very established licensing system for conducting the so-called asset management, the collective investment scheme, etc. So just like Uber coming to the market, people discussed about, if this is taxi and if Uber drivers need license in conducting such transportation services, right? And the same applies to the virtual asset or cryptocurrency or even the blockchain related transactions. So in the past, Hong Kong government or Hong Kong regulators would tell that, if you want to conduct some blockchain-based transaction, cryptocurrency transaction, or using the virtual asset for financing, you should observe the whole set of regulations. in Hong Kong, we call license number 9 for the asset management, and then you maybe your financing project can only be limited to those professional investors or accredited investors. But the happy thing we can see from the policy statement I mentioned, at least we open the door now. I mean, we open the discussion floor for maybe we can target also the public for those, cryptocurrency or crypto asset investment, financing projects, etc. And that's very important to real estate because, I strongly believe that blockchain, I think Elizabeth or AJ should also agree with me that blockchain can actually help a lot on minimizing or lowering the transaction cost in terms of, transacting a property or financing a property project. If that's the direction, I think we at least open the discussion or let the room to be allowed, for public participation in such activities. And even comparatively speaking, maybe more open than Singapore, because Singapore is now still restricting the activity to those accredited investors or professional investors. So in the direction, I can say seems that, okay, Hong Kong is picking up, and because of we are afraid of losing the financial hub role, in Asia, I can say it's quite a turning point, this year, from this policy statement. So I look forward to the discussions, and then maybe next year, they will give us some new rules to regulate the new activities that generate by the virtual asset or blockchain structured investment or financing.
Great. Thanks, Leo, for that update on what's happening. It's true. If you think back in history, how it was actually competition within countries, like going to the moon, right? All the countries of the moon race, everyone's trying to compete and try to get, because we all know, like you said, blockchain is an answer to many problems. There is many things that you can solve, and there's many use cases, and there's a lot of theory, but it's a journey to get there. Although we see some movements, but it's going to take some time until it's fully there. But we're excited to see the progress, and hopefully it's not just between Hong Kong and Singapore, but maybe Philippines and Malaysia can be contender one day. We will come in and we will get our act together in country-wise. And then also be seen as a contender in the space to push for progress. All right. We again, for those of you listening in, thanks for joining in. And if you have any questions, feel free to key into the Q&A button, and then I'll get at the end. Maybe we come to age right now. Okay. So we are towards the end of the year. 2022 is coming to an end. So 2023 is just very soon. It's just blink and we're already in 2023. What are the opportunities and gaps you see in PropTech? In technology, what are the areas you think that we can actually compete in, or add value, or even for some of the people who are here, we have people from developers, from real estate, from agencies, from even the tech companies themselves. What are the opportunities you see moving forward 2023? And maybe even challenges, maybe some challenge. What do you think could be challenges moving forward?
Jason, can I start with the challenges first?
Go ahead. Start with the bad news and the good news.
Yes, correct. Let's start with the let's start with the challenges. But definitely, I believe that in challenges, there are opportunities. So challenges that we see, particularly in the Philippines, is the acceptance of automation, and I'm not sure whether this is also happening with you guys. And the setback is coming from the data security, data sharing. So in the discussion that we're having with the Department of Information and Technology and DTI and the developers, the developers are concerned about the data sharing. So I think that I definitely see an opportunity for us to do a lot of knowledge sharing and information dissemination of the adoption of technology. And that's what we aim to focus for next year. And I think that, as I'm glad that we're all together here, we perhaps can learn from each other on how you guys are doing it in your country, especially, from Leo and, Elizabeth and you, Jason, and Danielle. So it's data security. That's one of the main challenges. And the second one is the fear that if we go digital, it will replace the human manpower. So the manpower. So that's the other challenge that we're seeing. And again, we have to educate the real estate industry that this is not going to replace jobs, but it will improve efficiency and productivity. So these are the things. Now, in terms of opportunities, I see major opportunities specific to PropTech in the building management sector, or solution, I would say. We see a lot. So for those of you who are here or who are into building management solution, we see positive response from the building owners on the automating, the property management, the facilities management. That's first. The second one would be the use of construction technology. So the chairperson of PropTech Consortium of the Philippines, who started the organization, was the one who introduced construction technology in the Philippines. And we have seen great adoption from the other developers. And thirdly would be sustainable, green, sustainable supplies, right? So for example, and this is also related to construction technology. So these are the three opportunities that we see here in the country.
Great. Thanks so much, AJ. It's good to know and hear that. Maybe right now we can hear from Elizabeth. Where do you see 2023 heading towards, and who do you think are the big winners, and also what the changes in for Malaysian PropTech scene?
Okay, I will look at the opportunity first, then the challenges. In fact, I think challenges is quite generic across most of the jurisdiction. Yeah. Okay. What I see as a great opportunity is the utilization of blockchain for property investment and funding. So because of the last 2-3 years of pandemic, I think what we are seeing is that housing affordability is an issue, right? People cannot afford housing. It's probably too expensive for them, or they cannot afford to get a housing loan because they do not have like secured job or 9-to-5 jobs. A lot of them they are probably like working freelancers. So in terms of bankability for housing loan, I think they may not be bankable in the eyes of the bank, right? So this is where I think some of the PropTech platform for, say, property crowdfunding, for peer-to-peer lending for property, utilizing blockchain, I think that could be a solution. And also, on the other hand, because of that, we are now also going into an era where we can democratize property investment. So really, everyone can be a property investor in the future because they are able to afford to invest in fractional property. Because with blockchain, you don't need to buy and own entire property. You can own a small piece of it through tokenization of property, right? And all these platforms can be licensed and regulated under the regulatory body of the country. You see, so it's safe and secure, right? And you do get return as well. And on the bigger scale, even property developer and property project with blockchain, now they can even procure funding, because again, it's not easy for a property developer to get big, huge construction loan from the bank, or bridging loan from the bank, or buying a piece of land, by using their own funding. So they still need to go to the public to fundraise. So by using the technology of distributed ledger technology, I think this is another way for funding for property project. Not only development, there are so many other specialized property project like core living project, resort, agriculture, agritourism, plantation, smart farming, you have urban farming. This kind of project now become possible for you to crowdsource, for everyone to own a piece of it. I think that is where the exciting future for real estate that I'm looking forward to see.
Great. I think before we go to Leo, I want to because while you're still talking about it, there was a question in the chat, in the Q&A from BJ's Warren Baraya, asking if blockchain is recognized in Malaysia, right? And also is token, i.e. NFT, and many more are not recognized in Malaysia. How are developers in Malaysia going to implement this? Is there going to be a workaround? Because you mentioned about fractional investment and also alternative scoring and things like that. So where do you, as a you being a lawyer as well?
Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Right, that's a good question. So that's why I think the education part is very important for the government to educate the people. So blockchain is never illegal. It's never illegal from the inception since 2009, because blockchain is an infrastructure, it's a technology. It is the cryptocurrency itself, that was being built, coded using blockchain technology, right? So cryptocurrency in most countries, they are not considered legal tender. That means you cannot use it as a currency, like that piece of currency, but it's only a medium of exchange. I mean, my cryptocurrency exchange with your cryptocurrency, we can exchange. But I cannot use it, go to a shop to buy something like a currency, or ringgit Malaysia, like that, right? So I think the public need to, but you take time for them to understand and differentiate, right? So that's why government are using blockchain as a technology, use it to implement various projects. And those projects need to be regularized, under the regulatory body, they got to supervise and look at it, right? Yeah. So they will take some time for education and for people to understand,
Understand. I mean, I don't have too much time because we are already very close to your project. Yes. But just real quick, you're saying that we need to educate the public, but do you think governments themselves are already educated enough to take action?
I believe, yes, they do. They've been looking at this for over 6 years.
On to you, Leo. So 2023, I know you mentioned some things earlier on, and also being in this competitive space right now, also with Singapore, it being the financial hub, and Hong Kong regaining its position. What opportunities do you see in 2023? And again, what challenges?
All right. I think instead of talking about some particular verticals of PropTech, I would like to say more about, because I'm comparing Hong Kong, Singapore. I think the opportunities because Hong Kong and Singapore are both small markets. So many types of PropTech and PropTech companies coming to Hong Kong or founded in Hong Kong or Singapore, they will be challenged about a question that how to scale up your market. So to me, instead of talking about particular PropTech applications, I would like to say the opportunities for Hong Kong or even Singapore definitely would be on the ecosystem to facilitate the development of PropTech. So Hong Kong is connected with China. We are in the Greater China region. Singapore is the hub or commercial center of the whole Southeast Asia. That means, all the PropTech solutions, even no matter it's construction tech, blockchain or ESG related things, I think both cities, the opportunities for them are definitely on being the role of ecosystem, say in terms of funding, in terms of VC, even for the exit for investors investing in the PropTech companies, IPOs, etc. And definitely we need to, or as PropTech companies founders, need to pay attention how to scale up their products, their services in the regions, in the neighborhood, neighboring countries. So I think these opportunities to us are also very important. We should pay attention.
Yeah. Thanks, Leo. And I think a lot of opportunities, like even events like this, where you can hear from each other and maybe see what potential collaboration and potential solutions that we can actually share and even adopt from each other's countries. I think that'll be very exciting. Okay, as promised, we will get to some questions. In the last 3 minutes or so, I'm going to ask some questions, but I hope you can keep our answers super duper short. One is for you, AJ, coming from Azman Muhammad Sofian. He asks, has blockchain been adopted by the local authorities in the Philippines to expedite the process of building and infrastructure plans approvals?
Thank you for the question, Asman. The quick answer to that is they're looking at it, but it's not yet adopted.
Okay, but do you think it's heading that direction, step by step?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, step by step.
Okay, so next question is from Akbar Raza. Anyone can take this. The whole idea of decentralization can get really weakened if at one point the government regulation says that we don't allow it anymore. So suddenly they say it's not allowed. Is there any other concepts of fractionalization of real estate without using blockchain model or just like in stock market shares? Anyone? I don't know, Elizabeth, maybe?
Okay. Actually, there is a reason. Of course, we can fractionalize property without using blockchain. So it's just normal system coding, you know. But whenever you transact a fractional property online in digital form, that is where you need the distributed ledger technology, so that there's no double spending. You cannot you're going to keep selling the copy of your digital asset. That is going to be a problem. So that's why blockchain is quite essential. Not blockchain. I mean, distributed ledger technology is quite essential. For fractional property to work online.
Right. So because blockchain is the technology that allows for things like this, and that's why I think in any scenario, blockchain will have to be the technology that powers it. Yep. Yeah. So I understand. Okay. Next question from Andrew. The collapse of the FTX recently has affected trust on digital investments. What are the measures can be done to gain back confidence from investors? Again, open up to all. We only have 1 last minute, so anyone, just short answers. I don't know, Leo, maybe?
Okay.
FTX, the collapse of FTX and trust.
Okay. No, if not, maybe just very quickly. Sure. I think the collapse of FTX is the best lesson for us to really look at security token. That means a token that is not empty, which is a token that's backed by real life security, which is property. I think, in fact, it's an encouraging move, for people to really look at proper token. Right.
Okay. And Cheryl Azizul Jafar asked, because he mentioned Labuan earlier, right, Elizabeth? So Labuan can issue asset tokenization license. So is there any issue for Labuan license to be used throughout Malaysia?
Labuan is a mini for outside Malaysia, actually.
Oh, outside
Malaysia.
Right, yeah. Right. Okay. So I think we're at our last lap, the final minute. So maybe just closing thoughts from everyone, just maybe a few, just a few 1-2 sentence. What is your thoughts or any final closing words? Start with Leo.
Again, I take this chance to talk to all the participants and panelists that we should closely together down the road, especially after COVID, to build or to establish, PropTech presence in the world, and in Asia. So I strongly look forward to any further collaboration.
We look forward to that as well, Leo. AJ, just last few words.
My last few, it's basically simple. The future of real estate is PropTech. So if you're not yet a PropTech member, join us.
Great. And final word from Elizabeth?
I think we should all realize, I think technology and blockchain and all this AI, big data is going to be the future for property. There's no looking back. Whatever we need to understand the subject matter before we jump into it. I think that is important.
So what's clear is the conversation needs to happen, continue happening. Fortune favors the bold. So let's brave together, even in this uncertain climate next year. A lot of uncertainties, but we can grab it by the horns, and with technology, there's a lot of problems that we can solve. So thank you for your time, AJ, Leo, and Elizabeth. It was a real pleasure speaking to all of you. I'll pass the time back to Angela. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.